In part 3 of my base game comparison series, we're going to be looking at Create a Sim in the 3 games. But first, I wanted to address several of the things that I have received in comments from the previous video. In the last video where I covered the buy and build modes, there were several things that I didn't get to or I had to cut out for brevity's sake, so I wanted to address those here because I got a lot of comments. First of all, no, pools were not included in the base game of The Sims 4. They were not added in until patch 7. People were very disappointed that we didn't have them in the base game. I bought The Sims 4 on the day it was released, and I remember the time when we all still had hope that these things could be fixed and the game could be saved. Second, the search bar in The Sims 4 is a godsend and one of my favorite features in build and buy mode, and another reason why The Sims 4 came in first. I really wish we could retro add that search bar to The Sims 2 and 3. Third, I did not cover the terrain tools at all because there wasn't enough time, and I may make a separate video on this comparison in the future because there is a lot to talk about. But basically, you still can't create pawns in The Sims 4 like you can in The Sims 2 and 3. You can only place like a deco object pawn in The Sims 4. Sims 2 does in fact have keyboard shortcuts, but they are not as obvious as they are in The Sims 3, and I didn't even know about them until you guys told me, so thank you. I've been playing this game for 12 years and I just found out about The Sims 2 keyboard shortcuts, so thank you for that, guys. In The Sims 4, you can stack windows, more than one window on one tile. This is a brand new feature that I also was not aware of until you guys told me, which I should have been able to figure out as I was moving the windows over one another, but hey, I'm a little dense sometimes, what can I say? But anyway, in one of the most recent patches, you can now put more than one window on a tile, which is a feature I have always wanted in the Sims games, and it can really give you some more variety with your builds. So another plus for the Sims 4 for build mode there. And finally, the Sims 2 swatches, yes, they were in fact much better than the Sims 4 swatches. You could choose multiple areas to recolor. Take beds, for example. You could recolor the bedding separately from the bed frame. So you could have the same bedding on many different color bed frames. This was really cool, and it really gave you more variety even with the base game objects. In The Sims 4, you just have a one swatch and that's it. It includes the wood and the bedding. There are no separate channels. The Sims 2 clearly did this much better, and this is obviously one of those features that I just kind of take for granted because it didn't even occur to me to cover it. But I got a lot of comments about this, so yes, you guys are right. The Sims 2 does swatches much better than The Sims 4. Now, with all this in mind, my previous rating still stands. Thank you guys so much for your comments, and let's get started with today's topic, Create a Sim. In The Sims 2, the Create a Sim was admittedly very limited. Once we created our sim, of course, we could give them a name, choose their gender and age, and then we had 4 different skin tones to choose from: light, tan, medium, and dark. That was it. We also only had 2 different body types. Your sim could be fit or your sim could be fat. And I'm gonna turn our sim to the side here and show you what a fat body type looked like in The Sims 2. There we go. So fit, fat. So fat in The Sims 2 meant you got a little bit of butt, you got a little bit of gut, and if you were a female, your boobs got a little bit bigger. So it looks even weirder on a male sim. Your male sim really gets a beer gut there. So here's a fit male sim, and there's a fat male sim. He's got a spare tire. And that was all you could do to your sims' bodies. You couldn't make any other changes. For hair color, we had 4 different colors: black, brown, blondes, and red. And of course, the base game hairs were, pretty basic. It was base game, but they weren't too bad. One of the things I really like about The Sims 2 hair is that it actually moved around your sim's face. You can see how it's just sort of swaying there as he turns his head. That was a really neat little detail, and I missed that in the other games. For the facial features, for the very first time, we were able to get in there and actually sculpt our sim's face with sliders. You have to remember, this might look basic, but in 2004, when you were coming from The Sims 1, this was amazing because in The Sims 1, you could basically just choose a body and a pre-made face. But in The Sims 2, you really got to start to customize your Sims. So you could use the sliders on any area of the face to really change it. And if you didn't like to use the sliders, you could use one of Maxis's pre-made facial templates. Now these These are notoriously ugly. I mean, I want to say they did their best, but did they? Some of these faces are just odd, but you could always go in and fix it however you liked with the sliders. And you didn't have to use these. Many of the townies in the base game did use these face templates with no alteration whatsoever. That's why you end up with really ugly townies like Benjamin Long and Comey Tellerman. For eye colors, we had 5 different ones to choose from: brown, light blue, dark blue, gray, and green. Other appearance options include some basic makeup here. Now, this base game makeup was not the greatest. A lot of it didn't look very good on the darkest skin tone, and that seems to be a common problem in the Sims games. We had 2 eyeliners, dark and darker, and it was more like a smudge around the eye than an actual eyeliner. There were some eyeshadows that could look really bizarre. Here's one, for example. I don't know what that's supposed to be. And you thought the MAC makeup for Sims 4 was bad. My God. If you still play The Sims 2 in 2020 like I do, you will probably have replaced all of this with much better looking makeup. But this was what we had in the base game. This was what we had and we liked it. There were also some lipsticks, which some of them really didn't look good on the darker skin tones, but at least we had some that did. Like this one looks pretty nice. That looks pretty good. So they weren't all terrible, and you could make your sim look relatively nice with the base game makeup if you stayed away from the really bizarre options. We also had a full costume makeup, which I have never used in my life, and this is mostly for the Veronaville Sims, and also some of the Strangetown Sims have this makeup. And the clothing, what can I say about the clothing? I mean, it was 2004, this was the base game. Compared to The Sims 1, it looked good. But now a lot of it just did not age very well. Your sim could choose from a top and a bottom for their everyday outfit. And we had these pants. Oh Lord, these pants. I have since defaulted these in my game, so I don't have to see these ever again. I call these knee pants because I don't know what's going on with the knees. Like they were trying to go for a flare leg, but it just didn't work out. I don't know. I hate these pants so much. I'm sorry. I have a vendetta against these pants. And who could forget the famous flame pants? Your Sims running so fast that their legs caught on fire. So there were a lot of just downright fugly stuff in here. Oh, and how could I forget this skirt? The skirt that looks like it's impossible for you to actually walk in. I don't know what that is. Burrito skirt. And unlike the other games in The Sims 2, in my opinion, the outfits were usually nicer than the tops and bottoms separately, but not always. Another thing about The Sims 2 is you couldn't choose your shoes separately, so the shoes were attached to the bottoms, and you could just choose top, bottom, or outfit. That was it. But we did have outfits for all occasions, every day, formal, underwear, sleepwear, swimwear, and athletic. Sims 2 had a personality point system to create personality for your Sims. I really like this system. The only drawback that I can find to the personality point system is that if your Sim is in the middle, they don't really have a behavior that's associated to their personality. For example, a Sim with really low nice points, like 3 or under, will be a real jerk and they will start fights with Sims in your neighborhood. A Sim with really low sloppy points, like 3 or under, will be a slob. They'll leave puddles in the floor, they won't clean. And a Sim that has really high neat points, like 7 or higher, will be a neat freak, constantly cleaning, can't stand messes. But if they're somewhere in the middle, they don't really have an associated behavior, which doesn't usually bother me. I can sort of focus on the aspects of the personality that the Sim does display. Lazy Sims will be lazy, active Sims will be active, and they can still have very unique personalities. And even though this seems limited compared to the trait system of The Sims 2, your Sims still somehow feel so individual when you're playing The Sims 2. We also had zodiac signs, which corresponded to the personality points. So you could choose a zodiac sign and the personality points would change to match. Aries are very outgoing, for example, but not very nice or playful. Or you could change the personality points and the zodiac sign would change to match. We also had aspirations, and in the base game there were 5 different ones: family, romance, knowledge, fortune, and popularity. Aspirations help to further define your Sim's personality and give them goals to work towards in their life. For example, family Sims would often want to get married and have babies. Romance Sims would want to woohoo and go on dates. Knowledge Sims would want to learn new skills and meet aliens. Fortune Sims would want to get raises and promotions and earn money. And popularity Sims would want to make new friends and throw parties. So these combined with personality points could make for a very unique feeling Sim. Now, turn-ons and turn-offs were not available in the base game. These were later added in the Nightlife expansion as part of the chemistry system, which is a really amazing addition, but we're just going on base game today, so I'm not going to cover those. Things did improve in The Sims 3. I remember when I got The Sims 3 in 2009 and I loaded this up, I was so excited that I could finally create a proper fat Sim. So now we had sliders to adjust our Sim's body weight, muscle size and definition, breast size, and you could really make your Sim actually look like they had a little weight on them if you wanted to. Unlike The Sims 2 where you just got butt and gut. Now the sliders did increase weight all over the body at once. You couldn't really go in and do separate body parts yet, but still it was quite an improvement over The Sims 2 system. Skin tones in The Sims 3 were on a slider, which meant that you could create a variety of different races and skin tones in your game. And there were different, I don't know what to call these, I guess color grades available. So you could do so many different skin tones, and you could even do different colored skin tones like blue and red and yellow. But there were 3 different natural skin tones you could choose from, and then you could choose how light or dark you wanted to go. This was a big improvement over the 4 skin tone system in The Sims 2. For hair color, we had 8 different pre-made hair colors set, but you could do so much more than this in The Sims 3. In fact, if you click on change color, not only do we have a base color, but now we also have highlights that we can edit. You can use any of the pre-made colors, or you can go straight into the color wheel and give your Sim whatever color hair you want. And because of the highlight option, you can really just go crazy in here. And if you got that perfect color and you didn't want to lose it, you could save it as a preset here and reuse it later on other Sims. As for hairstyles, they were pretty basic for base game, nothing too crazy. The hair texture was improved over The Sims 2 as well. I always liked the hair texture in The Sims 3, and I never used any default replacements for these. As far as looks, once again, you could choose from a variety of templates for each facial feature, and or you could go to advanced mode and use sliders, and there were a lot of sliders, a lot more than there were in The Sims 2. You could choose chin, for example, and use various sliders just on the chin. Then there were sliders for jaw and cheek, and this was for the entire face was like this. Now, a lot of people do not like the art style for The Sims 3 Sims themselves, and I think they tried to do a more realistic style compared to The Sims 2. I don't think it worked as well as they hoped. Now, you can make your Sim look really nice and create a Sim. The problem is when you get them out into the world and gameplay, they almost always look bad. And there's just like a really harsh lighting. It gives them these weird shadows and they just end up looking like potato face. And I have tried everything to fix this, from custom skins to custom lighting, and I just haven't been able to find a way to make The Sims look as nice as they do in The Sims 2 or The Sims 4. Now, I don't think that The Sims are so hideous that I can't play them. It's not like a deal breaker for me, but I do think The Sims in The Sims 2 and 4 look better. That's just my personal opinion. But like I said, I think The Sims 3 are charming, and I still like to play them, regardless of potato pancake face. As for eye color, we have presets here, and once again, you can go and choose from even more presets, or go to the color wheel. Just go buck wild in here. Give your Sim some hot pink eyes if you want to. You can do whatever you want in The Sims 3. And you can save those eye colors as presets as well. Makeup is a little bit better in The Sims 3. One of the things that I like about it is that you can choose opacity, so it doesn't have to be so strong. You can change color, save preset, same thing for everything in Create a Sim here. Tattoos were not available in the original base game, but they were later patched in. As for clothing, there were a lot more options than you had in The Sims 2 base game. for both tops, bottoms, and complete outfits. Strangely, in The Sims 3, I feel that the outfits weren't as good as doing the tops and bottoms, so it was kind of opposite of The Sims 2. Finally, we were able to choose shoes separately from bottoms, so that made customizing outfits a lot nicer. We had several accessories in the base game, like glasses, earrings, bracelets, watches, gloves, rings, and even socks and stockings. The only thing missing here is we no longer have an underwear outfit. Instead, we just have everyday, formal, sleepwear, athletic, and swimwear. They got rid of the underwear outfit, which to me was not a big deal because most of the time my Sims just slept in their underwear, so not a big deal to me. I actually had to come back into Create a Sim because I almost forgot one of the best features, and that is being able to recolor all of the clothing. In The Sims 3, you could use Create a Style on any object of clothing, and some items even had multiple channels. Each area that is highlighted separately can be colored a different color. So take this jacket, for example. Let's say we want to make it a black leather jacket. We could make it black with red arms if we wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. You can recolor pretty much anything. I really love this, especially with the limited amount of items that you have in the base game. This really allows you to stretch those further, so to speak, by making them all different colors. You could also change patterns, like this god-awful cow print. We could change that to black and white and just kind of recolor her whole outfit here. So I did get some comments in the previous video that some people don't like the Create a Style because they felt all the choices were overwhelming. I had never considered that because I love being able to recolor everything, but I completely understand where you're coming from. It can be overwhelming, especially if you don't really like to design everything like I do. I can understand that. So Create a Style is obviously not for everybody, but to me, it is a big improvement, and I love being able to make my Sims all matchy. Now, one downside of Create a Style, especially when you're in Create a Sim, is it can get quite laggy, and it can get laggy when you're in build and buy mode, and it can get laggy when you're in Create a Sim because it has to load all of these patterns each time. And I find that the longer you're in Create a Sim and the longer you've been using this, the laggier it gets. So that is a downside, but to me, I still love this feature, and I'm glad that we have it in The Sims 3. But where The Sims 3 really shines is in the creation of the Sims personalities. The Sims 3 moved to a traits-based system, and there were a ton of traits for you to choose from. In the base game alone, there were 64 different traits in the base game. There ended up being 99 different traits overall after all the expansion and stuff packs were released. But even if you never owned an expansion pack, you could still make all kinds of different Sims just with the base game. And the traits were not just empty, meaningless stickers that you put on your Sims. They really had an impact on your Sims' behavior. For example, absent-minded Sims get lost in their thoughts and occasionally forget what they're doing or where they're going. Angler Sims enjoy fishing more than anyone else. Athletic Sims are the best athletes in town and can push themselves harder and longer than others. Every single one of these traits has an impact on the Sims' behavior. Vegetarian Sims get ill if they eat meat. Sims with no sense of humor don't enjoy jokes and will not have a positive interaction if your Sim tries to tell them a joke. I could just go on and on because every one of these traits is actually meaningful to the Sims' personality. And with 64 different traits, you can come up with so many unique combinations that none of your Sims feel the same. You can also just randomize the traits if you want. So now we have a kleptomaniac who can't stand art, frugal perfectionist, hopeless romantic. Now that's going to be a fun Sim to play. Now once you've chosen your Sim's traits, you will get to choose a lifetime wish. When the base game came out, it would suggest to you 5 different lifetime wishes and you would have to choose one of these. It wasn't until later that the ability to choose any lifetime wish regardless of traits was available. The recommended wishes are based on your Sim's trait. For example, because our Sim is a kleptomaniac, we were suggested become a master thief as the lifetime wish. Different traits will trigger different lifetime wishes. There are a total of 32 different lifetime wishes in the base game, and more were added with the subsequent expansion packs. Our Sims also have favorites for the first time and only time. Now we have favorite food, and whenever your Sim eats their favorite food, they will get a happy moodlet. We have a favorite music that the sim can listen to on the radio. And there aren't very many to choose from in the base game, but if you get some expansions and stuff packs, there end up being quite a few. We also have a favorite color. I love giving my sims a favorite color, and I use this color to help decorate their homes or their rooms and pick out their clothing. I even recolor their cars to their favorite colors. It doesn't really have any impact on gameplay. It's just a fun little thing that you can use however you want. Zodiac signs were not available in the base game. They were added later as part of the chemistry system, which is a really amazing part of The Sims 3, and I'm not going to cover it here today, but maybe we'll look at that in another video. Create a sim is another one of The Sims 4's biggest strengths. Creating sims is fun, easy, and I really like the way the sims look. I know this is an area of contention. Some people really like The Sims 4 style, some people don't. I personally do like the way the sims look, and I like how easy it is to make pretty good looking sims or ugly sims or weird sims or whatever kind of sims you want to make. And the customization options are the best that we've ever had. We'll start here. So of course there's a name generator that you can use. It's quite terrible and usually comes up with some awful names that I would never use, but that's in all the Sims games, so that's not too much of a complaint. One really amazing thing about The Sims 4 is you can actually create custom genders. You can allow Sims to become pregnant. Can the Sim use the toilet standing? Now, this was not available at base game, but this has been patched in, so everybody should have this now. That is a really cool feature. And you can create anything from toddler to elder. A new feature that we have is now walk style. Now, I really don't use this very often because I find a lot of the walk styles to be kind of weird. Like, here's a goofy walk. I don't mind the feminine walk, swagger. I guess it just depends on the personality of the sim. And now let's get to the appearance customization. So we have new outfits that we've never had before. We have everyday, formal, athletic, sleepwear, the usual, but we also have a party outfit, which is pretty cool that your sims will wear this when they attend parties. And then we have a hot weather and cold weather outfit, and these are for seasons. Right now I have all packs disabled except for the base game, and I'm still getting these. So I am not sure if these have now been patched into the base game or not. If you have the base game, let me know if you have these. Another new feature as far as outfits is the styled looks. Now, this is a really cool concept. I like having the different styled looks. My only complaint about this is that you don't have any way to create your own styled looks or share them. This would be a much more useful feature if we had a way to create our own styled looks and share them with others, because right now all we have is whatever EA gives us, and these get kind of old and tired, and you're sick of seeing your sims in the same old outfits. And some of them you have a way more than others. Like, we have 8 everyday outfits, and some of these are freaking Star Wars outfits. No, I do not have the Star Wars pack. These were added into the game, okay? There are a lot of items to choose from in the base game, more than in the other games, more than in Sims 2 or Sims 3. We have tops, bottoms, and full body, and now we have a much easier way to sort these. You can sort by type, by t-shirt, jacket, sweater, tank, that kind of thing. And in full body, you can choose sets, short dresses, long dresses. We also have more accessories in the base game than we've ever had before. Lots of socks, stockings, jewelry, and you can also sort those, and shoes can be sorted as well. Now, skin tones. I'm not going to talk too much about these because everybody knows that they're problematic. EA has promised that they're going to be improving these by the end of the year. It's 2020 right now, so we'll see how that goes. But the darker skin tones are just not great. They are not good. This one looks like pinkish, and this one looks like purple and splotchy. I don't know, they're not great. But like I said, you can use custom content or wait for EA to improve these, and that's your only option at this point. Aside from the skin tones, the ability to customize your Sim's face and body is just amazing in The Sims 4. You can actually push and pull almost every area of the face and body. Now, there are some pre-made templates, just like in all the other games, that you can use, and then you can adjust those as you like. So if we look at the body, like you could make a big booty, you could make some small or large thighs, pretty much anywhere you can just grab and drag. For hair colors, there are several different pre-made hair colors and even some unnatural colors included with the base game, which again, we don't have a color wheel. You can only have these pre-made colors. There are a lot of hairstyles available in the base game. I think more than were in The Sims 2 or 3. I didn't count them. I should have counted them. But it looks like more to me. This one doesn't count. You can also place hats on separately onto different hairstyles, which is really cool. And we have a bunch more accessories for the top half of the body, including earrings, glasses, and necklaces. The makeup is much better in The Sims 4, and you can't change the opacity though, which is something I don't like, and you're stuck with just whatever swatches they give you. The eyelashes, I am not crazy about The Sims 4 eyelashes, the direction that they went on that, and I usually use custom content eyelashes that get rid of these and give them eyelashes that actually look like eyelashes. So before we move on to personality, I want to talk about one more complaint, and very valid complaint that people have with The Sims 4. And that is that the teenagers look exactly like the adults. And I mean, pretty much exactly. They're the same height. Like, let's change the Sim to a teenager. And I see almost no difference. They have a little bit narrower hips and a little bit smaller boobs. That's pretty much it. Teen, adults. So yeah, I remember when the game first released, you could not tell the difference between teens and adults as they were walking down the streets, and they actually had to release in a patch how you can hover over the Sim and see their age appear above their head because nobody could tell who the teenagers were. Coming back at you really quick because I forgot about this thing. This was not in the original base game Create a Sim, but this was something that was patched in later. So if you have the base game now, you will have this, and this is basically a way to create a story for a Sim, so to speak. So what you want to do is you're going to take a little personality quiz to create your Sim. So you can say no thanks if you don't want to do it, or say okay if you do. Then you're going to choose your age. So I'm going to choose young adult. Your home is, and it basically just gives you these questions that sort of come up with a personality for your Sim. And if you don't like the question, you can choose a new question and get another one. And so you just basically answer these questions, which I'm not paying any attention to. And you can see when it has a check mark over here, that means it's come up with an aspiration for your Sim. So this is kind of a neat thing. I mean, it's something new that we haven't seen in any other game. And so now it's created a Sim for me that it looks like she's a romance Sim. She's a romance Sim. She is a loner. She's romantic and she is ambitious. It also gives her a career and various skills and starting funds. So it's actually kind of cool. Her career is business. She gets a bonus charisma skill from that. She also has a little cooking skill, and she has standard starting funds. So that kind of gives you a little base to start with to create a story for your Sim, which God knows The Sims 4 needs more options to create stories. There was also one other thing I didn't cover when I was talking about the clothing, and that is that we actually have clothing swatches for the first time. So in The Sims 2, we didn't get swatches like this. You just, if there was a shirt that had multiple colors, it would just show up multiple times in the catalog. And then in The Sims 3, we had, of course, the color wheel. When you choose any item of clothing, it will have multiple recolors that you can choose from, which is nice. It's better than not having any recolors at all, but still not as good as the color wheel in Create a Style, in my opinion. But where The Sims 4 is most lacking is where it really matters most, and that's in the Sims personality. You can make a beautiful Sim, but then when you get over to their personality, things get a little iffy. As for aspirations, there are 24 different aspirations, which is much fewer than were in The Sims 3. You can only have 3 traits instead of 5. There are far fewer traits. There are a total of 37 traits in the base game. Now compare that to the 64 in The Sims 3. And not only that, but the traits in The Sims 4 don't have as much of an impact on the behavior of the Sims as I feel they should, or that they did in The Sims 3. You can randomize the traits here. So we have a clumsy slob who's materialistic. You get no suggestion for aspiration, but that's okay. I mean, you can easily choose your own aspiration. For each aspiration, your sim gets an additional trait that goes with the aspiration. So I guess they technically end up with 4 traits, but it doesn't really feel like there's much difference between the sims once you're actually playing them, no matter what traits you give them. This is a very disappointing part of the game for me. I love to create a really nice sim, build them a beautiful house, but then when I try to play them, it's just, there's nothing to it. If we read about the traits, the impact they have on the sim's personality is so just shallow and minuscule. For example, goofball sims tend to be playful. That's it. They tend to be playful, so they'll get in a playful mood. Instead of just having them, you know, be more likely to tell jokes to other sims or have them do some special interaction like in The Sims 2 when Dina would play in the bathtub like a pirate because she was so playful. They really relied on this emotion system, and I'm not going to get into that again. The way that they did it, like romantic sims may become sad if they don't have any romantic social interactions for a period of time. I don't know why they went that way instead of making them more likely to have, I mean, I guess they're more likely to be flirty. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it works in the game. I know what they were trying to go for, but it just doesn't feel like it works to me. Here is my final ranking for The Sims 2, 3, and 4 Create a Sim. Unfortunately, The Sims 2 comes last for appearance customization, but I am giving it first place for personality customization, especially because the personalities had so much impact on The Sims behavior in the game. In fact, I think The Sims 2 did personalities best, and The Sims all felt unique and interesting. No matter how many different Sims you played, they all felt like they had a unique personality, and for that reason, Sims 2 gets first place in my book. The Sims 3 comes in second place for both appearance customization and personality. The customization was much expanded from The Sims 2, but still not as great as it is in The Sims 4 Create a Sim. With personality, however, we had 64 traits that really impacted the Sims' behavior. I really do like the trait system in The Sims 3, so I am giving it second place as well. While the skin tones are a problem, the overall functionality of The Sims 4 Create a Sim is superior to the other games, especially with how laggy The Sims 3 can be when you're using Create a Style and the color wheel for a while. Although it is lacking a color wheel, which I personally like, the ability to literally sculpt your sim into any shape and size that you want makes up for that, in my opinion. So The Sims 4, obviously, it comes in first place for Create a Sim appearance customization, but unfortunately it comes in dead last for personality. I don't think I need to elaborate on that any further. So what do you think? Do you agree with my rankings of the games for Create a Sim? Leave a comment down below and let me know. My name is Cindy, and I'll see you with a new video very soon where I'll be comparing careers in the 3 base games. Thank you so much for watching.